Hello everyone, very good morning. I hope I am audible and visible to all my students. Good morning and welcome to the Hindu news class with me on StudyIQ English. Let's look at the Hindu newspaper articles, the New Delhi edition, all the articles that are UPSC relevant. And before I start and before I welcome everyone, here's a small comment I have posted in the live chat box, and that's my Telegram channel. Now, finally, I do have the channel, and all of you can join this channel. And I have uploaded all the October, November, and December Hindu newspaper notes in the channel already. Okay, so I made it last night. We all can start joining it. I have officially begun it now. I will keep updating. Today, yesterday's PPT also, PPDF also I have uploaded. All these are annotated, so you will not have a problem. Apart from that, today I will also upload the monthly analysis. I will keep uploading important current affairs, the one that I had on science and technology. I'll keep providing you all that. So you have a ready-made access to that. So let's keep on joining it, and you can access all these PDFs from there. So I think that should not be a problem with anyone. And now a very good morning before I start to Rajendra, Sitaram, Satya Prasad, Afroz, Terukula, Shashank. A very, very good morning there, Janush and Ponguru and Sakshi, Shashank, Sagar. Okay, so many code names. Then Santosh, Pranarithi, Swati, and Sumit and Kojumba was not here yesterday. Today she has come. Abhinav, Sumed, Ramu. Very, very good morning. Yes, wishing all of you a happy new year. Those who were not there yesterday. So let me quickly show you which articles do I have for today. And once again, to those who are now joining, I have just posted the link of my Telegram. Try to go on that link. I hope you are able to join it, okay? And let me know if there's any difficulty in joining. Very good morning. Roshan, Anoop, and okay, good morning there, everyone. Okay, so it's in my name. It's Saumya Pande UPSC. That's the name of the channel, Kojumba. The link is right here, bacha. I just shared it with you from my email ID, saumya.pnd. It's right here. You can find the link, okay? If not there, I'll post it again. I'll paste it again. I don't think it should be a problem. In case you feel any problem, let me know. Okay, once again, I'm posting, okay? I just posted. All right, you can have a look. Good morning, Aman. Okay, let me show you then which articles do we have to cover today. So here are about 8 articles. The first 2 articles are, I just posted, Ramu, just before your comment. Just before your comment. Once again, I will post, okay, before I leave. Right here I posted. I hope you can see it. Saumya.pnd, that's my ID. Here I have posted the channel. Is it visible to everyone? Could you find it? Okay. No? Terukula, you couldn't see it? Okay, let me post it under Terukula's chat once again. Here. I just did Terukula. I hope you can see it now. Just go to this link on Telegram. You will have access to it. All right. So these are 8 articles for the day. And the first 2 articles are editorial page article. And then, okay, you didn't get it. Is that the case? Okay, that's surprising. I'm posting it repeatedly. I wonder why is it not? My comment is not visible. Is that the case? Okay, then there's one more thing we can do. Maybe it's not there in the live chat. Let the class finish. Once the class is finished, then in the comment box, I will post it. Is that okay? I think then it should be visible. Maybe the live chat is a problem. I'm presuming that. So once the class is over today, I'll post it in the comment box from the ID saumya.pnd. From there, you can pick it up. I think then you can pick it up. Still, if it doesn't work, then I'll ask the office team to do it. Okay? Today, I'll do it. Not visible. No problem. Let me do it after the class then. Yes. Let me do it after the class. I think live chat is a problem. Done. I understood. I'll do it after the class. Okay. Let's focus on the articles now. The first 2 articles are editorial page. That's page number 8 for us. The remaining articles are then short newses also, but then there is one slightly lengthy that comes on the Aravalli controversy. So let's begin from the first one itself. The first article for the day talks about how mandating student presence, erasing learning. So it's a very interesting article and it really relates to your GS paper 1 and 2. Why? Because GS paper 1 is Indian society social issues, education is a social issue. Then also GS paper 2, because in GS paper 2 we study vulnerable communities. Yet here we are looking at how children are vulnerable to the education system. So overall we are looking at the social problem of India's education system. Before we go into constitutional articles, before we go into Schedule 7 of the Constitution, let's examine what this article talks about. Very good morning, Sadhna Vikash. Now, this article is saying that very recently it was the Delhi High Court. Okay. Very recently it was the Delhi High Court, which has given a very interesting jurisdiction. The jurisdiction is that now students who are studying law students will be given the permission to write examination even if they do not have enough attendance in college. So even when they fall short of their attendance norms, they can still write their examination. This came as a shock to the administration of the college because people in India typically believe that good education is about compulsory attendance. Of course, from 2002, we have spoken about the 86th Amendment Act to our Constitution. Of course, from 2002, we understand that we have additional responsibility in the form of a fundamental right that we enacted in 2009 on the basis of 86th Amendment Act 2002, and that is Article 21A, the right to education. Of course, we have a fundamental duty as well. That says it's the 11th fundamental duty which makes it compulsory for everyone in India to educate their children, especially children from 6 years to 14 years. Yes, they do have a right to basic primary education. Despite that, in our society, we often believe that very good. Yes, it's Article 21A. But in our society, we often believe that education is all about attendance. Just by physically being present in college or school, you are learning a lot. We assume that physical presence equals to learning outcome. And that's a very unhealthy belief. It's a very fake belief. We can today believe that. Today, the ruling made by Delhi High Court is also very important because it's breaking this kind of stereotypical thought process. The judgment is questioning the idea that learning can be forced upon children. Learning can be forced upon students by creating surveillance and compulsion. It highlights that attendance is everything, obedience is everything. Understanding, merit, and scholarship have a lesser role to play. But what logic does it make? Today, CBSE is also considering another change in examination system. We are now planning open book exam. Once again, it's a shock to administration. Because open book exam is not about cheating from your book as you write the paper. It's about the fact that the questions in the exam are so applied, they are so practical and they are so solution oriented that even if you have a book in front of you, there's nothing you can copy. The questions are not focusing on rote learning. They are not focusing on memorization. They are just focusing on how can you apply the concepts you have studied into real problem solving. That's why these changes are a need of the hour when it comes to India's education. The Delhi High Court's ruling today is now forcing universities and colleges to focus on improving the quality of pedagogy. What is pedagogy? What is pedagogy? The method and the style of teaching. So the Delhi High Court ruling today emphasizes that pedagogy has to be forced on quality. It is not about quantity. I may have 100 students in front of me, but there's no point if I cannot make all those 100 people more learned, more meritorious. Merely having 2 to 300 people is not going to help me. It just shows inflated attendance. People have to be present in the class in the sense of their mind and curiosity as well. That's also a concept of the new Talim, the Nai Talim by Mahatma Gandhi in India, the education system of Rabindranath Tagore. Both these great thinkers emphasized on the same thing. If Mahatma Gandhi said under Nai Talim, we have to make children learn holistic education. One concept should lead to another. Very good example can be the spinning wheel or charkha. While making your own cotton fabric, not only do you learn the art of manufacturing, vocational skill, but also you learn to do multiplication, division by the spokes of the wheel. You understand the nature of black regur soil. Where does cotton grow? What's the history of cotton? How does economic and math work? That was Naitali, very revolutionary. Similarly, Rabindranath Tagore used to say there's no point in sitting in bland, closed classrooms that are dingy. It's a better idea to go and engage with nature. The Gurukul system in India is a beautiful example of that, Vikash. Absolutely. Sit under the sun, sit under the sky, and then engage with nature. Because learning has to be applied and learning has to be experiential. Absolutely, Ramu. That's what he used to say. These thinkers would say that. Today, once again, the Delhi High Court's verdict reminds us of that. Only pushing children or students to come to class raises a deeper question. Why will people not come to the class if attendance is not even compulsory? Why do we believe that people will only come to take classes in school and colleges if they are forced in the form of attendance? The desire to attend the class has to be intrinsic. Every day you have to look forward to the learning, the enjoyment that you get. Otherwise, what's the logic? What's the point of even forcing students to school? It will always lead to dropout. It will always lead to absent minded learning because teachers believe students don't come to the class because they are lazy. The reality is your pedagogy is uninspiring. If you cannot inspire a child to learn, you cannot expect attendance to come from within. And that's very visible in India when you look at the government schools and many private schools too. They charge a lot of fees, aided and private schools in Indian cities. They are contributing to educational social gap. At the same time, most of the classrooms are today depending on rote learning, notes and books, and that's it. Outdated, expired notes. Historical lessons that feel children have no value to learn anything from them. Students are not learning anything from these classes, and therefore, parents and students believe we are better to learn online. In that case, why should we even go and waste money on school and college? In that case, if you force attendance, it is a pedagogical failure. Sorry, but it's a failure of teaching, it's not a failure of learning here. Because true education, according to thinkers like Paulo Freire, it used to be dialogue based, it used to be interaction based, it can never be a one way monologue communication. Students have to be active participants, they need to question, they need to interpret and apply their knowledge. You cannot expect them, yes, absolutely, you cannot expect them to just tell something from your side. Rote learning, boring learning, uninspiring learning, you can't expect them to listen. It's not a radio being played. It's a teaching class that we are talking about. Unless there is imagination, there is no learning that ever happens. A very good example, I gave you an example of Rabindranath Tagore ji and Mahatma Gandhi. Now, this article gives another examples of global thinkers. For example, Christopher Bailey, Issa Berlin, Terry Eagleton. All these people said they used to attract students by ideas. Now, there's a very interesting example that comes in my mind. It's not there in the article, Sitaram, Santosh, Ramu, Sadhna, Good Morning, Alok. It's not there in this article. It came in my mind. If you remember, during India's freedom struggle, we used to really talk about a great teacher, a great nationalist known as Henry Vivian de Rosio. Remember, he inspired the Young India movement. Young students were highly attracted to this teacher. People used to go crazy to take his classes. Why like that? Naturally, because his classes were engaging and logical and exciting. Because students can only learn when there is anticipation and curiosity. You should wait for your class. You cannot expect the students to come because it's a compulsion for them. Good teaching makes absence unimaginable. You regret when you don't take the class because you love taking that, because it inspires your imagination. It's not illegal to miss a class. You should feel that it is unthinkable to miss a class, and that's what this article is trying to expose. Very good. Gopal Krishna Gokhale, absolutely. All these great teachers of India, they have made a great difference, isn't it? Now, looking at what do you mean by experiential learning? Experiential learning happens outside the classroom. It happens by reading. Thinkers like, as I said, Rabindranath Tagore or Sarojini Naidu, the Nightingale of India who could inspire the national movement. Yes, at the same time, when we read Wordsworth or Plato, Aristotle, we learn how to think independently. We relate all those ideas to our everyday experience. We question, why is education rigid? Why is it marks oriented? I mean, are marks really a category? which judges a student's learning or potential. Not really, not at all, in fact. This shows that learning can thrive in freedom. After all, in India, we celebrate. After all, in India, we celebrate. Article 21, we say it's right to life and dignity. Then the right to experience freedom in learning should also be a right to life under Article 21, is it not? If you look at the best practices globally, then top universities today like Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, MIT, now they are not focusing on attendance as much. In fact, they have adopted the flipped classroom system. The class is only for experimentation and project, and then all the notes are given online. Why? Because in Indian universities, we really need to achieve that intellectual maturity. We are still bureaucratic, marks oriented, attendance oriented, political interference is too much. We emphasize on loyalty of students by showing that they come to school or college every day. Mandatory attendance is a tool of social control to control students. You can use it to force them. You can use it to stop them from complaining against your poor teaching level, but you cannot force them to become good learners. You're failing your future generation. That's something we need to realize. So this article, therefore, is not just an administrative or a social issue here. This article is deeply GS paper 4. It's very ethical in nature. It's about ethics in education. It's about how universities should believe that students are not children anymore. They are thinking individuals. You cannot treat them as young minds only. They are thriving and evolving minds. The key question is that today we need to decide in India that do we really foresee the aim of our education as forced attendance, marks based learning, and controlling imagination? Or do we really see our education system as something where we talk about curiosity, experimental learning, and the desire of children and students to come to school? Innovation comes from that. We often talk about ease of doing business. India is poor when it comes to entrepreneurship and education. Now, look at India's education system. Despite the fact that we are popularizing higher education, technical education, even if students are very intelligent and smart, they ultimately go and join STEM jobs. Very few people translate into entrepreneurship. Why in India is entrepreneurship so low? Because innovation is very low. And why will innovation be low? Because as a child, you were never taught to ask questions. As a child, your education could not touch upon your imagination. Just by learning theory and data, you feel you've learned everything. No, you haven't. You haven't learned how to solve a real life problem. It also reminds me of Mansukh Bhai, the man who had inspired the Mitti Cool refrigerator. A very important point you can highlight in philosophy essay. Now, the need to create the Mitti Cool refrigerator was not born out of engineering. It wasn't born out of a technical degree in electronic science or AI. It was born out of a need and innovation and imagination. Formal education always doesn't translate into real life solutions. Now, the great lady Miss Thimmakka, the lady who got Padam Sri, because she was able to create forests by her own hand. The man who created the Miyawaki forest. Now, these are not the people who've done PhDs or who've taken advanced degrees. No, they haven't. They are all those people who've used imagination and innovation. That means real learning is not coming out of marks or forced attendance. No, it comes out of internal curiosity. A teacher who can provoke you to learn more, to dream more, to be imaginative, to be risk taking, to be more communicative, to be discovery oriented is a real teacher. That's the real pedagogy. And that's sadly what we are lagging in India today, at least in terms of higher education. So therefore, the Delhi High Court's verdict that children from law, students from law, they can write their exam even if they haven't taken their attendance seriously, it's completely fine. It is proving the point that in India, we believe in Article 21, the right to free speech, the right to life. Article 19(1)(a), the right to free speech and expression. There's no need to go to school or college if it doesn't help you learn anything. True learning cannot be legislated. It can be inspired only. So Delhi High Court verdict is a great revolutionary verdict today. And now, before I meet my students and look at their beautiful comments, a quick reminder. As we are doing this important article, a quick reminder. As Ramu already mentioned, I know that. So has Bikash, I know that. So has Santosh, I know that. That in India, when you look at education, now education in India today is a concurrent list subject. Yes, as Ramu said, education in India is a, what is it? It is a concurrent list subject. And which schedule of the Indian Constitution talks about the division of power between union, the center, the states, and both together? That's Schedule 7th of the Constitution. I want all my students to know all the schedules and their application as well. Now, education comes under concurrent list, but it was not always like that. Before 1976, before 1976, when you had the great mini constitution, beautiful, the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, 1976, Miss Indira Gandhi, emergency period. Yes, the same amendment that gave us words like socialism, secularism. The same amendment also made education a concurrent list subject, because before that it used to be a state subject. Okay, before that it was a state subject. From 1976 onwards, it is now a concurrent list subject. It comes under state subject entry 11. It used to come earlier. Now, no more. Now it is under concurrent list entry 25. I repeat, concurrent list entry 25, list 3. That is your education today. Seventh schedule, absolutely. Correct. And now if you look at fundamental rights, absolutely. It is about right to equality, Article 14. It is about right to life with dignity, Article 21. It is about Article 19, right to free speech and expression, Article 19(1)(a). All these fundamental rights touch upon the fact that, and of course, Article 21(a), right to education. All these articles touch upon the need to create an accessible, free, and innovative education. Before I show you the question quickly, now let me see what my students are saying. Absolutely, Santosh and Sumit and Sadhna. Sumed, that's correct. Both are responsible, Satya. Very, very good. Thank you, Vikash, for reminding. In India, we have only had 3 education policies at the national level. I'll repeat to my dear students. One came in 1968, another came in 1986, and the last one has come in 2020, the new education policy. Now, beautiful comment made by Ramu. The bell-shaped curve. Majority of students are average. Very few shine there. True. Correct. So normally what happens if you compare with them, that's why we have to make attendance compulsory. Otherwise, most people will not attend schools. And what about the students who have a mediocre learning skill? That's a very, very beautiful point you've raised, Ram. Very good. That's the thing. Probably it's all about the fact that we cannot create a customized education. Maybe education is becoming a concept where people with different intellectual abilities are being clubbed together. Perhaps that's a better idea when you have a Gurukul system, that we can treat every person the way that person needs to be treated with. A more customized education plan could be the solution. And that also beautifully says why we need to sometimes make attendance compulsory, Ramu. It's a counter view and it's a very smart view. Thank you for that. Yes, Sadhana, that's a very valid statement you've made. Very good, Satya. Right to privacy as well. Very, very good. Good morning, Priyanshu, Sadhna, Santosh also, Priyamvada. Now, answers are coming. Eric has answered. Vikash, Sadhna have answered. Sitaram answers. Let me see. With reference to Delhi High Court's ruling on compulsory attendance in higher education, look at the statements here. One, the ruling has said that rigid attendance requirements cannot be made an absolute condition for appearing in the exam. Second, the judgment has now said that physical attendance is the most reliable indicator, benchmark of a student's academic engagement and learning outcome. And three, the ruling encourages universities to focus on improving the quality of teaching rather than enforcing attendance through administrative coercion. And what do we mean by coercion? Coercion means force. Coercion means when you really push somebody very hard. So very well answered there. Everybody has answered beautifully. Whether it's Afroz or Sadhna, whether it's my dear Vikash and Ramu, whether it's Anup Rebina, whether it's Aktopam or Aman or Sagar, very well answered. Indeed, indeed, the second statement was not right. So B will be the right answer. That's very well said. And Terukula, the comment and the statement you made regarding this class is so touching. You've really humbled me. Thank you so much. And I'll always strive to be the best for you. And God bless you. And thank you, Vikash, for the mnemonic that you have created. So those who are trying to learn the schedules of the Constitution, have a look at the mnemonic that Vikash has created. After all, Ramu, Vikash, Diptesh, and Sitaram and Terukula are mnemonic experts that we have. Okay. All right. Many new students are joining with different code names. Good morning, dear everyone. Okay. All right. See, that's what happens, Prasad. That's a very valid real life problem that you've raised here. It has to be reached to everyone. Correct. Subject to doubt that how will they reach out to people without discrimination? After all, education was always a double edged sword. Ramu used that word already. Double edged sword. Yes, it is. It's like if you remove compulsion of attendance, many average students will miss education. But if you keep on making it compulsory, many meritorious students might not be able to innovate as much. So you see, it's always a double-edged sword. That's with every administrative protocol. Thank you, Codename News. It is Varna-based, Ramu. At least it used to be earlier. Earlier it used to be. Nowadays, I'm listening from my various friends and other students of mine. I hear now that there are many schools in India who are now adapting to the Gurukul system, but they are slightly modernized. So they ultimately hire you on the basis of entrance exam and fee. They are copying the Gurukul system mostly. So that could be a good idea. You can borrow the best practice from everywhere and create a hybrid learning model. I think that works very well. Because yes, in traditional times, caste system was supreme. So gender and caste and religion, yes, absolutely there could be the obstacles there. That's a valid point too. Okay. Sharing your attendance with each other. Okay, that's fun. Now, next article quickly. Let's proceed, my dear. This is also editorial, and this is coming from how in India hate crimes are on the rise. Now, Bacha, remember one thing 2-3 days before in the Hindu. Now, I had not done that article because it was a very short article. It was a state article. I usually avoid political state articles, but it caught my attention actually. Why? Because that article was mentioning a word named as witch hunting. Witch hunting. Witch hunting in India is also a hate crime. And all these topics, whether it's witch hunting, whether it's caste based atrocity, whether it's minority persecution, whether it's communal hatred among people, all these are covered under GS paper 2 of your UPSC syllabus. Because we are looking at communalism and hatred here. Among all these topics comes another concept of hate crime. What is a hate crime? What is a hate crime? In India, hate crime is not a new thing for us to learn actually. Just now, Ramu was talking about caste system, ancient society. Since then, we have seen hate crimes happening. After all, there is a reason why the Indian government, after independence, created an article in the constitution known as Article 17. Article 17, which has now prohibited and banned any form of untouchability. There is a reason why we launched the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Swachh Bharat mission in 2015, and then we relaunched it with another theme in 2021, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan Urban, Health and Vertical, Health and Wellbeing Vertical 2021. There is a reason why Supreme Court always tells and always reminds the government that listen, there is an article called Article 25 of the Indian Constitution, PPP, right to practice, preach, and profess your religion, that gives every individual a right to follow their religion the way they want to. But within Article 25.1, there is another protocol known as Article 25.1 and Article 25.2, which say whenever the government feels there is a need to reform a religion towards welfare, the government will interfere. There is a reason why in India the government forced various religions to open the doors of temples, gurudwaras, and many other religious institutions to the so called backward castes in India. There's a reason why we give reservation. Because hate crimes in India are not new. We have seen them from the very beginning. Absolutely, Sadhana, and very good Vikash. Yes, Ram, abolition of untouchability, the PO Act, prevention of atrocity. 1989, later amended in 2015, once again amended in 2019. There's a reason behind that. Because on the basis of caste, on the basis of tribal status, on the basis of gender, on the basis of religion, untouchability, human abuse, social abandonment are very common practices. I don't know how many of you remember, Bacha, but I have discussed with you. I have discussed on my platform, I clearly remember, my dear, just 10 days before, I think it was 20th December or something, I had discussed with you and a very interesting article that day. Now, Bacha, if you remember, we had spoken about the state of Karnataka. What did I say? I said the state of Karnataka has passed a very unique law. They are passing a very unique bill in the assembly. That bill is about prohibiting, banning, and criminalizing any act of social abandonment. You cannot throw out any individual from society, whether it's due to the caste barrier, whether it's due to tribal or religious barrier. You cannot criticize or throw away somebody like that. In Hindi, they sometimes say in villages, hukka pani band kar dena. You completely ostracize, abandon people, you throw them out of your group. That's not allowed in Karnataka anymore. That's a recent bill that they passed. All these things are done by Khap Panchayats. They are the ones who act like parallel justice systems, and they always are composed of higher caste communities. And that's how they punish people, by throwing them out. Hate speech, therefore, hate crime, therefore, is not a new thing in our country. It's been happening since a very, very, very long time. By the way, very good Sadhna and Srinivasu. Today we are talking about hate crimes, and very recently there was an article that was about witch hunting. Now, can you believe? In fact, it is shocking because sometimes it makes you cry. You know, when you see these documentaries, they are disturbing to your mind. And as UPSC aspirants, as future officers who need to solve these problems after all, you should know. Now there are states like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, sometimes even many more states where you have very visible cases of witch hunting. Small children and women are the targets of this. A woman who is a widow, a woman who is mentally not normal, a child who is mentally abnormal, not physically normal or mentally normal, somebody who's from a lower caste, somebody who's a tribal, are sometimes blamed for things like rainfall is not happening. Agriculture crop has failed. It's very common in India, it's very common in sub-Saharan Africa, Sahel countries. Sahel countries also, very common. Hitting these people, throwing stones at them, mistreating them, killing them eventually. All these are witch hunting. All these are acts of vandalism against humanity. Totally devoid of Article 21 of Indian Constitution, and hate crimes come in the same category. This article here is an eye opener. This article is hurtful, it's painful, as Eric reminds us. How painful, how miserable it is to know that this happens in 2025 in a country that's the fourth largest economy today. Thanks for sharing that. Now look what the article is saying. Article is saying in late 2025 in India there have been many such incidents that remind us of mob violence. Mob violence, and they have happened in different parts of our country. Who were the victims of these violence? The victims have been migrant workers. The victims are lower caste people. The victims are tribal laborers. The victims are students. Can you imagine? The victims are students who are attacked, who are killed, who are labeled as foreigners. You are a Bangladeshi. You are a Chinese, as Eric is reminding us. What a painful thing. When I say it, it's paining me actually. It's that bad actually. You are a Chinese or you are not an Indian. In reality, all these victims who were targeted were Indians. All of them were every bit Indian like any other Indian. Why were they attacked? They were attacked because people were suspicious of them apparently. Why? Because they were targeted because they used dialects that people did not know. They used languages that are not majority languages. They spoke of different state dialects because they came from states that are slightly more geographically isolated than mainstream India. They were attacked because they are migrant workers from Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, or Bihar. They were attacked in states like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala after being called as Bangladeshi immigrant. They were attacked even in Kerala. Yes. Now, this is very significant for a country like India, which has a very variable total fertility rate. Multiple times we have discussed. Whereas states like Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and UP have a high fertility rate above the replacement level fertility of 2.1. Naturally, they have a young population, they have a youth bulge, they have a demographic dividend. Southern states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra, Telangana, they are highly industrialized. Maharashtra also, highly industrialized. They have great job opportunities, but they have an old population. Kerala has the oldest population, geriatric population. These are not young states. Who will do job here when people are not there? We are all the same country. Article 19, right to freedom, gives us the right to reside and settle in any part of our country. So migrants will come. Laborers will come to find jobs here. They have every right to come and find jobs here. They are coming from one state to another. They don't need a visa for that. They don't need an approval for that. Why should they? And still they are targeted. Targeted in states like Kerala, which are otherwise known for urbanization, 100% digital literacy, 100% good law and order, good gross domestic product of the state. Here also they are getting targeted. A case study from Kerala, Palakkad, says that. A case study from Odisha, Sambalpur says that. A migrant worker from West Bengal was beaten to death after being accused of being a Bangladeshi. Another Bengali speaking street vendor was attacked and assaulted. Tamil Nadu, highly industrialized. A man from Odisha was attacked on a train. The assault was captured on a video camera. It was shared online. Uttarakhand, capital Dehradun. A student from Tripura, our own country, our own brother. He was attacked and stabbed after being called a Chinese. Look at the cheap level of racial ethnic crimes that are leading to hate crimes in India right now. This shows how talented, young, aspiring students from north and northeast are being treated across India. It is a pattern, it is not an isolated incident. By the way, similar mob attack keeps happening on minority community, on students. Ordinary citizens are targeted sometimes in workplaces, public places. What is the police doing? Police says we have made some arrest, but is arresting some people enough? It's not enough. It's not at all enough. We need preventive measure. Curative measure is not going to help. If you want to enforce the law strictly, where is the logic of unity in diversity? Unity without uniformity, diversity without fragmentation. That's the basis of new education policy. It should be if it's not. To tell people that India is a polycultural country, we cannot expect people to be same. Racially, ethnically, whether it's your religion, whether it's language, people will not be the same. They cannot be the same. That's the beauty of a polycultural society. That's the logic behind calling yourself secular, by the way. Today, such attacks are once again proving the fact that the government has failed. For what? The government has failed to provide to people their fundamental right. Which fundamental right? Fundamental right 21, the right to life and liberty and dignity. Fundamental right 19, the right to move freely, reside and settle in any part of India. Article 32, the right to go to Supreme Court if your other fundamental rights are violated. Article 226, the right to go to High Court if your rights are violated. Article 15, right to equality in employment and education. Yes, all these fundamental rights are threatened. Threatened because you are treating people with abuse just because they are migrating to your area. Is this not an act of filthy regionalism, negative nationalism? It is. Now, politically, also, people are trying to abuse what is going on in the country. We all understand many states are going from election process. We had Bihar SIR done. Similarly, we were planning to do a similar special intensive revision for Assam. Later, it was refused because Assam already had a special intensive revision in the form of National Population Register in 2019. Assam is governed under 1985 Assam Accord. There are differences when it comes to citizenship of Assam. Therefore, it was not done. But same special intensive revision. Remember, Election Commission of India, Article 324, Article 326. I have told you. All these special intensive revisions were done to correct the electoral roll problems in 12 states and union territories. Did you see the result of these, SIR draft result? Did you see the result? Majority of those who were removed from the electoral roll are women and migrant workers. Plus, people have started taking example of this today. People are saying if the government itself wants to do special intensive revision, if the government itself wants to ask migrants to go out by doing national population register, then why should we allow illegal infiltration? The reality is, who is the election commission to ask about citizenship? Who are you and I to ask about somebody's citizenship? Multiple times we have discussed, we did it yesterday also. Citizenship is not to be decided by people like you and me. It is to be decided by Ministry of Home Affairs. Vikash told us yesterday, so did Ramu and Kojumba. Yes, Ministry of Home Affairs decide. Part 2 of the Constitution decides. Foreign Tribunals Act decide. Nobody else can decide. So therefore, just calling people as Bangladeshi migrant, go out of my country, is not a valid statement to make. As Ramu says, it is jingoism. Jingoism is also an extreme form of nationalism, where you become unreasonable. where you are not acting with logic or compassion to others. And that's what is going on right now in the country. Article says it is irresponsible behavior, it is very dangerous. You are also denying your fundamental duties when you say that. Is there a solution to this problem? Yes, there is a solution. The solution is that the Supreme Court should take suo motu cognizance of these issues immediately. So should High Court. And the central and the state government should have zero tolerance for mob violence and vigilantism in India. Political parties should not indulge in hate speech just to win an election. Today you can win an election. Tomorrow you may be the target of the same mob violence if you provoke people like that. That's why in Karnataka, we have also passed an anti-hate speech bill. It's immoral to do hate speeches. It's an abuse of Article 19(1)(a), the right to free speech and expression. Because Article 19(1)(b) or Article 19(2) says the same thing, that we will not tolerate hate speech in the form of free speech and expression. We are not tolerating that. So, what can we conclude here? We can conclude that if you believe that Article 14 is right to equality before the law, then mob violence that's based on language, race, your physical appearance, your culture, your religion, or your gender, it's breaking down Article 14. If you believe in Article 15, prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of religion, caste, gender, place of birth, today calling people as Chinese and Bangladeshi due to their religious, ethnic, or cultural identity is defeating the spirit of Article 15. If you do not allow them to work in your state as migrant, it's defeating the purpose of Article 16, equality in job opportunity. If you treat them as outsiders, you are defeating the purpose of Article 17. You are treating them as untouchables. And you are defeating the purpose of Article 19(1)(d). I'm writing here Article 19(1)(d). Freedom of movement. If Article 19(1)(a) is freedom of speech and expression, Article 19(1)(d) is freedom of movement. It gives every Indian citizen the right to freely move throughout the territory of India, to reside and settle wherever they want to. By attacking migrants, by attacking people from remote states, you are just defeating the purpose of Article 19(1)(d). Plus, it's an insult to Article 21, right to life and dignity. It's an insult to Article 21(a), right to education. It's an insult to Article 38, Directive Principle of State Policy, Part 4 of the Indian Constitution, DPSP. It's an insult to DPSP Article 38, which mandates that the government should promote social justice and reduce inequality. Last, Article 51(a)(e). Article 51(a)(e). What is this? It's a fundamental duty. 10 days before, I have spoken about Article 51(a)(g), the fundamental duty to protect your environment. Today, I'm talking about Article 51(a)(e), the fundamental duty of citizens in India to promote harmony with each other, brotherhood with each other, to cross and come out of regional and ethnic and linguistic differences and understand that hate crime and hate speech violate all your fundamental duties. That's it for this article. I hope it's clear to everyone. Very good morning. Code name stories. Okay, you can make running notes, bacha, if you want to make. Otherwise, I have already shared the Telegram channel link, but my students have not got it. So after the class is over, in the comment box from my own name, Saumya, I am Saumya, I will post my Telegram channel name. Join that. You will get all annotated PDFs for every class that we take, all other notes that I create. Is that clear? Very good question, Ramu. That's beautiful. Yes, we are applying Article 19 only to Indian citizens. But these students from Northeast who were abused and who were called as Bangladeshi or Chinese, were they not Indian citizens? Were they not? Are migrants from Bihar and Chhattisgarh into states like Kerala and Maharashtra not Indian citizens? Are lower caste students not Indian citizens? They are Indian citizens. They are every bit Indian citizens. We are apprehensive of them because of their different appearance and language. That doesn't mean they are any less citizen. If you hate a migrant worker, It's understandable. If you hate a migrant worker who is a refugee in your country and who is illegal, it is still understandable. But when you hate your own country citizens just because they are migrating from one state to another, that is not acceptable. So, very valid point, Ramu. I hope it's clear. Article 46, DPSP, very, very good. Article 38 also was covered here. That's so true. That's so true, Ritik. Ritvik. It's a reality actually. Okay. Question, bacha. With reference to recent incidents of mob violence against migrants in India, consider these statements. One, several victims of mob attack were labeled as foreigners. They were later found to be Indians from different states. Two, suspicion based on language, region, or physical appearance. That's race. Multiple times I have said and I repeat. Physical appearance is only related to race. That's it. When race combines with religion and language, it becomes ethnicity. Has contributed to the rise of vigilantism. Vigilantism, where you are suspicious of an outsider. You are observing them as if they are your enemies. Xenophobia, hatred, and fear of outsiders. And mob violence. Three, patriotic rhetoric, patriotic theme around illegal infiltration can indirectly embolden mobs and weaken the rule of law. So, which of these are valid? All of these are valid. So, very well answered there. Rabina, very well answered there. Akhtar, Kojumba, Eric, Sagar, Ayan, Ramu, Adi, Afroz, Prasad, Sitaram, Aman, Priyanshu, Sumit, S, codename BS. Then, yes, it's correct answer. Very good answer. Good Vikash, good Ram. Everybody, very good. All are correct. And thank you for clarifying code name S Hot. Article 15, 16, 19, 29, 30. Only for Indian citizens. Thank you for that. Very good, Aktopam. That's correct, Bacha. Everything is correct here. You've answered very well. Now, quickly, the next article for the day. The next article for the day, good AB. The next article for the day, Bacha, is coming from GS paper 3. GS paper 3 because environment, ecology, conserving your nature. That's the theme of this article. What's the title of the article? Why does India need climate resilient agriculture? What do you mean by resilient? Resilient means like an elastic, something that comes back after being damaged, something which is very immune. That's known as resilient. Yes? Okay, two interesting questions coming my way. Look at that, Eric. Yes, these can be ridiculous discourses. Thanks for sharing. Absolutely. Attack on homosexual community. Definitely it can be a basis of witch hunting. Actually, what happens, Ramu? It's a very interesting question you're raising, Bache. See, what happens, any societies usually, I'll tell you something as a student and teacher of sociology. One thing is very clear. Societies always prefer solidarity. Okay, a human and a society's perspective is not necessarily the same. In sociology we often say sometimes what is not good for you and me could be good for a society, sometimes what's not good for a society could be good for you and me. Agreed that all of us are a part of society, but society also has a separate political, economic, and social cultural existence. Sometimes many societies are intolerant of things like homosexuality. They highly believe in gender discrimination. It may be good for societies. It could help them in staying together. It could help them in becoming a control based surveillance society. Perhaps the societies continues like that. For us, it may not be good. So whenever you attack somebody because they are homosexual community, they come from LGBTQA group, that is ridiculous. It's completely against human right. But at the same time, many countries are doing that. There are so many countries in West Asia and Africa that do not tolerate homosexuality. They have banned it, in fact. There are countries that do not tolerate women to go out and study. There are countries which still have not allowed women the right to go out on their own without male support. There are those countries who do not tolerate minorities at all, China, Russia. You see, every society has its different quirks, their different kind of way they function. So every time a homosexual is attacked or a minority is attacked, definitely it is an act of witch hunting. It's an act of hate crime. It has to be called out because our laws support that. But if you talk about another society where there is no law to protect them, how will you call that illegal? There's a difference between morality and legality. GS paper 4 ethics. Yes, something that is very immoral, very immoral. I don't want that to happen. But my law has no punishment for that. Rape within marriage. Now, you are a sociology student, Terukula, great to know. Rape within marriage, what about that? Do we have a separate punishment for rape within marriage? We don't. Is that not immoral? It is. It is. But there's no law to protect that. How will you prove it's illegal? You see, it's a very complex line between what is legal and what is immoral. Okay, so that is something we need to see. All right. Okay. Solidarity, Shikha. Great, you know about the word. Okay, wonderful, Akshaya. Okay, great. Coming back to this article now. Why does India need climate resilient agriculture? Let's see. Article is saying that climate change is already affecting Indian agriculture very badly. Obviously, it's again a very sad irony and paradox that in India we are still saying 70% of our population is dependent on agriculture. But agriculture is not having the same productivity anymore. Why does agriculture not have this productivity to support so many rural people? That is something everybody knows, I think. Obviously, one thing is land fragmentation, another thing is poor technology in agriculture, third thing is high climate change and its impact on agriculture, fourth is disguised unemployment in agriculture, then soil quality and underground water is completely contaminated because of pesticide. There is a lack of allied job opportunities. Therefore, agriculture will not give profit to many people. That's also the reason why most people in India migrate from village to the city. Rural urban distress migration is very common. This article is saying the same thing. Despite 70% people dependent on agriculture, our agriculture is today terribly getting impacted because of unpredictable rainfall, rising temperature, and heat wave. Declining fertility of soil, I have discussed in my science lecture. Soil salinity, it happens because of capillary action. All the salt in the bottom of the soil, because of too much fertilizer, it starts coming on the top of the soil. When soil is full of salt, it becomes alkaline, it is not fertile anymore. Then you start putting more fertilizer. What is the logic? That's why today Indian government is focusing upon biostimulants. I did this in the science technology lecture. I will put that PDF also in the Telegram group so that everybody can see those notes. Biostimulant is the new technology right now because agriculture is now devastated, increasing air pollution. What productivity will our agriculture have? Plus, you have 3 seasons only: Rabi, Kharif, and Zaid. In that, also, so much controversy is there. Between Kharif and Rabi, farmers are getting just 10 days to sow the seed. Should they clean their land? Should they burn their stubble? Or should they start growing the Kharif crop? That's a common problem in Punjab, Haryana, UP. Yes, then underground water is also less. These many problems are already there. So now what? If agriculture is not productive, how do we meet our future security needs? India is a country with 1.4 billion people. Still, we are heavily malnourished. 57% of Indian women, according to National Family Health Survey, are still experiencing anemia, lack of iron and hemoglobin. Plus, as you are talking about water contamination, did you see what happened in Madhya Pradesh? Did you see what happened in Madhya Pradesh? So many innocent people died because the water, drinking water, was contaminated with sewage water. Can you imagine? Then tribals in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh are experiencing thyroid, infertility, different kind of diseases because soil itself is full of metals. Soil is full of metals, toxic metals, bromide, chromium, mercury. It's a devastating thing that's going on. Today, therefore, we need a new innovation. And that innovation, this article is calling climate resilient agriculture. Resilient means a climate that can adjust to an agriculture that can adjust to climate change. See, now let's accept one thing. Global warming has happened already. Climate change has also happened already. It is very stupid to presume that now we can cancel all that. How can we cancel? Can we press a button and cancel? No magic will happen. We have to live with the climate change now. We can only prevent it from future, from getting worse, but we can't deny it is already there. But you also cannot escape your responsibility. You have to grow crops. What will people eat? What is the solution? When you know you cannot cancel climate change, all you need to do is to adapt to that climate change. For example, if somebody gets sick because of diabetes, insulin resistance, they know that they cannot cure it now. Somebody is having arthritis or thyroid, they know there is no solution. No tablet can cure you now. You can manage your symptoms. You can manage it, right? You can be resilient to it. Good lifestyle, good food, timely medication. That is something that's with agriculture also. Now we cannot cancel climate change. Sorry, it's done now. It's done. Now we can at least adapt to that climate change. That's called resilience, and that's called climate resilient agriculture. How can we do that? One, by reducing climate risk. Create such farming practices and technologies that depend as less as possible on fertilizer and chemical pesticides. Then try to increase crop productivity by going back to traditional ancient methods like polycropping or mixed farming. That's an excellent method of farming. After green revolution of 1960s, Indian government had given large amount of minimum support price, MSP, on only rice, wheat and some oil pulses. No farmer was therefore ready to grow millets or vegetable. There was no profit in that. No pulses also, no soybean, nothing. Everybody wanted to grow rice and wheat, and therefore, in order to get more MSP, more profit, naturally farmers were into monocropping. Monocropping, when you grow the same crop in your field for great amount of land and every season you do that only. That devastates the soil quality. Yes, that has happened in India from 1960s to 2000. Today we realize, today after the Poshan Abhiyan, that the government should start giving minimum support price to oil pulses, soybean, legumes, millets, and vegetable. State of Kerala had done a revolutionary thing in 2021 by giving MSP on vegetable for the first time. That supports us. Because once you move away from monocropping and start giving MSP on other things, the farmers will be encouraged to grow those things. When you grow crops which are different in variety through polycropping, one plant of something else, one plant of something else, intercropping, that increases soil fertility. Plus, when you grow oil pulses like leguminous vegetables, you lead to nitrogen fixation of the soil. Naturally, the soil gets rich and fertile. That's something we need to do right now. Very, very important it is. And therefore, under climate resilient agriculture, precision agriculture, very, very good, Vikash. Correct. Correct. It's an evergreen revolution, not green revolution, but look at the side effect today. Yes. So therefore, we need to take all these practices like maintaining less chemical usage, more biostimulants, and mixed farming practices. What are the key components of climate resilient agriculture? One, biofertilizer and biopesticide. What do you mean by that? Rather than using chemicals, nowadays we have developed a class of fertility improving materials called biostimulant. Stimulant means something that creates, and bio means natural, biological. We are creating natural solutions to be put in the plant which automatically act like the natural growth enhancer, like giving a human being vitamins and minerals rather than medicine or chemicals, rather than giving me hormone so that I become tall. You are giving me more vitamin and healthy food so that I automatically grow tall as per my genetic ability. So that's what we are doing. Biofertilizer, biopesticide, organic ones, very good. Then soil microbiome analysis. Understand whether the soil has a healthy microbiome, just like you and I have a gut health. Our gut microbiome, if it's not healthy, if you develop diseases like SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, or your gut microbiome is devastated, you will fall sick, you will have digestive problems. It may lead to insulin resistance or liver getting enlarged in the long run. Similarly, if soil has a poor microbiome health, soil will become infertile. How much chemical will you add? Ultimately, you will only eat that chemical. So now we are also trying to create genetically modified crops which can sustain more drought. That is climate resilience. So we know drought will happen. Heat wave will come. Rainfall will not be enough. Naturally, because we are living in climate change, generation. So we have to create genome edited crops, GM crops, which can sustain drought, which can sustain heat, which can sustain soil salinity and so many new kind of diseases and pests. We need to create that. We need to use AI and machine learning to show how we can utilize best quality seeds in best quality conditions so that farmers know when to grow, what to grow. All these are important. Does India need climate resilient agriculture? Obviously. We have a large growing population, 1.4 billion people. We are highly dependent on agriculture. More than 65% people depend on agriculture even today. In India, 51% of the net sown area 51% of the net sown area is rain fed, producing 40% of food output. You understand what I just said? 40% of our agriculture produce is dependent on rainfall. In climate change times, is that sustainable? It's not. When you depend on rain for irrigation, you are vulnerable to climate change. If the rain doesn't come, you are devastated. Therefore, let's go back to not only traditional farming methods but also to latest AI technology. A good example could be in 2011, the Indian Council of Agriculture Research has launched a program called NICRA, NICRA, National Innovation in Climate Resilient Agriculture. We have now started covering 448 villages by improving the output of rice intensification, creating aerobic rice, direct seeded rice, zero pesticide, zero fertilizer, climate resilient crop varieties like millets are being grown. In situ crop residue management. If there is a wastage, destroy it right there. In situ. Don't carry it outside. Yes. National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. Focusing on rain-fed areas. Use your water efficiently. PM Kusum scheme. Solar powered irrigation pumps, which India has also shared with Africa, is a good example. Soil health management. Latest, the Bio E3 policy. The last one, Bio E3 policy. What is Bio E3 policy? Biotechnology for economy, environment, and employment. You can forget other points, but not this one. Bio E3 policy. I'm writing this so that you can find in the PDF. Bio E3 policy. Very important. What is Bio E3 policy? Biotechnology for economy, environment, and employment. It's a national policy of Indian government to use biotechnology as the growth engine for creating more jobs, for creating a sustainable agriculture process. We must encourage private sector also. Agriculture startups should now start offering solutions to farmers who are poor farmers. Spread awareness about climate change and its threat. Create excellent quality and affordable I'm saying biofertilizer, natural organic ones, biomanures, biopesticides. All these need to be made affordable. Precision farming, as Vikash said, by using AI tools can go a long run. Today, we need integrated policy. Develop more climate tolerant, genetically edited crops. Then focus on quality control. Ultimately, climate resilient agriculture today is not a luxury, by the way. It's a necessity. It's a necessity, there's no choice. The better the government agencies coordinate, the more the startups participate, the more funding goes to solar powered irrigation, the more funding goes to genetically modified crops that can sustain lack of water, salinity, and heat wave, the better we perform. Otherwise, what is there? Food insecurity is bound to happen. 1.4 billion people and climate change is not a joke. That's what this article says. Yes? Answers are coming already. Sitaram Santosh Akhtar. What comment Ritvik is making? That's true, Ritvik. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to create it in reality. Good morning, Bharat. Israel has done a major boost, absolutely. And India and Israel have signed a memorandum of union, also good reminder. At the same time, Israel is also one country that has huge investment in converting sea water to fresh water to cope with the desert arid conditions of the West Asia. And that's innovative. India has also promised to take that technology, but we should do it very soon. Okay. Then who else was making that interesting comment here? Vikash was talking about genetic engineering. That's correct. Okay, Terukula was reminding us about Green Revolution, the Mexican crops, Norman Borlaug. That's very, very correct. And thank you, Ramu. Ramu has once again reminded us something we've all forgotten, I know. When I was discussing with you the air pollution in Delhi, when I was talking to you about the cultivation season of Kharif crop called rice, we had discussed in the Hindu article the Kuruvai season. Kuruvai season, a lovely word in Tamil that means a short duration paddy, rice season, June to July. Today Ramu has reminded us once again. I'm so grateful. Thank you, dear. Very, very good. Correct. Correct. Wonderful, Bharat. Nisar satellite. We discussed that yesterday in the class. ISRO, NASA to monitor crop health. Yes, all of that we have discussed. Yes, Rebina. So quickly the question with reference to CRA, climate resilient agriculture. Look at these statements. One, climate resilient agriculture aims to maintain farm productivity while reducing dependence on chemical input through the use of biotechnology and digital tools. Second, a majority of India's net zone area is rain fed, making agriculture output particularly vulnerable to climate change. And three, national innovation in climate resilient agriculture. I just spoke about it, announced by Indian Council of Agriculture Research, when in 2011 called as NICRA, is being implemented under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Really? Is that what I told my students? The third statement? If I remember correctly, if my memory is working fine, I think I clearly said that Bacha in 2011, it was the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, ICAR, that had announced NICRA, National Innovation in Climate Resilient Agriculture. In 448 villages, we had done demonstration of rice intensification, zero tillage wheat, direct seeded rice, in situ waste management, climate resilient crop varieties. We need to expand that. Who implemented that? Was it Indian Council of Agriculture Research or Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change? Slight technical glitch. A will be the right answer. 1 and 2 are right. But I don't blame anyone here because it was a very small technical error. It was not a conceptual error. So well done. Well answered. Very good. Aktopam Santosh. Ayan Rabina. Abhinav. No. Okay. Bharat. Anup. AB, Ramu, Vikash, Kojumba, Eric. Is it clear to everyone? I hope it is. Any doubts, let me know. Quickly, the next article, bacha, please. The next article is talking about what exactly? Now, the next article is talking about Aravalli Hills. It's not a new theme at all. It again goes back to GS paper 2 as well as GS paper 3. Are my students not thinking, why ma'am GS paper 2? It should be GS paper 3. Climate change, protecting ecosystem. Why are you saying GS paper 2? I'm saying that because ultimately Supreme Court is involved here. Supreme Court's jurisdiction. 100-meter classification for Aravalli is also included here. And Supreme Court comes under GS paper 2, polity and governance. So both are the topics here. Quickly, let's come back to the article. Yes. Are we ready? Abhinav, Ramu? Eric? Very good, Terukula. Very good, Ramu. Very, very, very good. Who else said that? Abhinav. Well observed. ICAR. Ultimately, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Correct. That's the catch here. ICAR. Not this ministry. I hope it's clear. Okay, Sagar? Sagarika, are we ready to proceed? May I proceed with the next article? Is everyone here on the same page? Yes. What's the controversy? We know the controversy. Aravalli Hills versus critical minerals in India. What's the controversy, bacha? Aravalli Hills, Rajasthan versus critical minerals controversy. What happened? On December 23rd, very interesting thing. The chief of, listen carefully, it's a story, very interesting one. 23rd December, the chief of Integrated Defense Staff, makes a comment. He says, modern defense system is based on critical minerals. We cannot afford to keep importing critical minerals from countries like China, Australia, Chile. We have to become self-dependent when it comes to critical minerals because it is a strategic vulnerable sector. Now that comment has created a strange kind of issue. He is saying defense system and self-defense, self-reliance, Atmanirbharta in defense is about creating Atmanirbharta in critical minerals. But in order to get critical mineral supply, India has created the National Critical Mineral Mission. Among all this controversy, from somewhere came Aravalli Hills. Why? Aravalli is an area that is rich in critical minerals. We should mine it therefore. If we want more minerals for more defense equipment, mine the Aravalli. What is the problem? Go mine it. But then that's creating a controversy about conserving a special ecology, desert ecosystem, desert biodiversity, protecting Delhi, NCR, UP from desertification, sandstorm, dust storm. What to do? Among all this controversy, 20th November comes Supreme Court. Honorable Supreme Court of India on 20th November says, we will adopt a very clear-cut definition of Aravalli, uniform definition. Hills versus ranges. All Aravalli hills that are above 100 meter of the flat local land will be considered as Aravalli Hill. And all those such hills that are located at 50 meters from each other, 500 meter from each other, two or more such hills within 500 meters such range is known as Aravalli range. Clear? So Honorable Supreme Court is very clear. If an isolated hill is 100 meter and above, it is Aravalli Hill. If two such more ranges are located in 500 meter distance, they are Aravalli range. Anything that comes below that is not Aravalli. If it is not Aravalli, go do mining in it, no problem. Do mining in it. But below that only you can do. Above 100, all mining lease, all mining agreement will be stopped. We will also at the same time ban and prohibit mining in core and special areas. We will allow, but the main controversy is not 100, 500. The main controversy is a statement made by the government that although above 100 is Aravalli, agreed, but in cases of emergency, in the cases of strategic exemption, in the cases of, I repeat, strategic exemption for critical, strategic and atomic minerals under the MMDR Act 1957, we will allow mining. Ideally, we will not allow above 100. There are two fundamental flaws here. If you are allowing above 100, if you will not allow above 100 any mining, that means anything that is below 100 meters you will mine. According to this definition, 90% of Aravalli will get wasted because Aravalli is a low-lying denuded hillscape. Aravalli is very much ranging from 60, 100 to above. It is a variable mountain range, one of the oldest mountain range in the world. Who are we to decide 100 meters? Below that is also Aravalli only, by the way. 90% of Aravalli is getting excluded from this definition. It is a failed proposal. Second, you are also saying we will allow strategic exemption in this case. If there is a mineral that has to be taken for strategic or atomic purpose, we will allow mining. Is that not ridiculous? Environmental groups protested. Bharat says he's from Rajasthan. Then you may have seen very wisely and very properly how much protest happened in places like Udaipur. Thank you for that statement, Bharat. Right? So much protest happened. People were out on the road. Environmental experts were protesting. They said it's a weak landscape. It's a fragmented landscape. You are destroying it further, as Bharat confirms. They really have destroyed that. At the same time, you are destroying the desert flora and fauna. Underground water will go for a toss. You can't do that. Supreme Court was amazed. Honorable Court was amazed at this retaliation, and the court decided to put the definition on stop. Today, the definition is on a hold. A new committee will be created from the Honorable Supreme Court, and now this committee will sit and decide whether what is the classification of Aravalli. But people are asking a question to the government. Sir, what do you mean by strategic exemption? Environment Ministry says we have weak environmental safeguards. We have weak environmental safeguards. We cannot help it. We have to promote ease of doing business. If we want to give more startups the opportunity of coming and mining critical minerals, if we want India to become Atmanirbhar in defense, space and semiconductor, we need these minerals. Where will we go? We have to go and take it from Aravalli. So therefore, Environment Ministry has repeatedly broken environmental protocols to allow for mining and commercialization of these areas. Very good. Absolutely. SB, shorts. Correct. Very important these are. You see, absolutely, Prasad. If you use the 100 meters definition, more than 90% Aravalli comes under that. That means you will ruin everything. Right? That's the ridiculous topic here today. And that's why Environment Ministry has always broken environmental protocols to promote industrialization and mineral mining. Why? Because in India, the government always depends upon executive direction. It's the government who decides. Executive decides. Office memoranda decides. Project specific exemptions are common in our country. In the name of strategic exemption, we keep on breaking environmental protocols. A very good example. Can I remind you of something that happened last month? December 2025 and November 2025? The government started allowing post facto environmental clearance. You don't need to take a prior clearance now. After the building and the project is made, take a post facto clearance from the government. That shows the weak environmental protocols in India. That's ridiculous. Under the Environment Impact Assessment Framework, any project today that is called strategic it will avoid public consultation. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. This is making national interest criteria opaque and arbitrary. Since 2014, environmental clearance norms have been broken down repeatedly. First example, we allowed ex post facto environment clearance. Suddenly, after too much protest, once again it was stopped. Then it is only allowed in emergency. Now it's hypocrisy. Very good. Next, mining projects for critical minerals have been exempted from public hearing. Very good, Ramu. The Great Nicobar project, removing 13 acres of forest, saying that we will go and compensate for it in Haryana under the CAMPA, Compensatory Forest Act. Similarly, coastal regulation zone rules. Today we have allowed construction in delicate zones under the coastal regulation rules. We have completely broken down environmental protocol. Very good, Terukula. The Goda Varman case. Brilliant. Look at Forest Conservation Amendment Act 2023. It has narrowed down the definition of forest. The land, all the land that was exempted earlier before 1996 has now been allowed for acquisition for making critical infrastructure like roadway, railway, and security infrastructure. We are expanding activities for non-forest purpose by justifying that all these are critical initiatives. We can't help it. What is the impact of all these moves? The impact is that today, very easily, we can take exemption and break environmental protocols. Infrastructure has been allowed today in forested areas very easily. Tribal population is removed now. And though mining is not completely exempted, but today, by refusing public discussion, we are heading in the same direction. All these are a breakdown of environmental regulations. Aravallis are important. They recharge groundwater. They prevent desertification. They support unique animals and plants. They promote air quality. These are all linked to sustainable development goals in our country. Which sustainable development goals are related here? Sustainable development goal number 6, clean water and sanitation. Sustainable development goal number 13, SDG. Number 13, that talks about climate action to be taken on an urgent basis before 2030. Very good. All these are today showing that in India right now, we are saying we can't import strategic minerals too much. At least we can recycle and reuse. At least we can understand that industrial growth and strategic growth is good. But by giving so many exemptions on an ad hoc basis, you are completely defeating the logic of ecological preservation. Beautifully explained there, Terukula. Goda Varman case, Vikash land acquisition case, National Green Tribunal comes in the picture. Environmental impact assessment. Absolutely, it comes under picture. Environmental Protection Act 1986 comes in the picture. Very good. So all these are just showing that whether it's Western Ghat SB, the Kasturi region, whether it's the hydroelectric power plant that we talk about, or the Great Nicobar project, or the Flamingo Sanctuary, the wind turbine that's coming up there, or the expressway or the highways and the ropeways being made in Uttarakhand, all these are clear-cut examples that everything is strategic and everything is not. After all, there are countries like Bhutan also that refuse to adjust with anything strategic when it comes to compromising with nature. So even if we cannot do something as extreme as that, at least we must understand without environment, there is no human existence. Thank you so much, Terukula. So kind of you, Bacha. Very good. Very good. Reminder, Santosh. It is for International Union of Conservation of Nature, which has declared three areas in India as very, very vulnerable. Western Ghat, Himalaya, that's Trans Himalaya, and Sundarban. Very well reminded. Now, quickly, let's come back to the next article. We are done with mostly important understandings. Now, quick reminders to you, Bacha. Let's focus for 2 last minutes. Financial. Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court, GS Paper 2 in India has made a very interesting observation. It says, if a man is earning and if the wife is not earning, if she is not a working lady and the man is earning, just because the man or the husband is asking from the wife that how much money have you spent? Can you show me where are you spending so much money and all? It is not called cruelty. This will not be legally termed as cruelty, although it is not good. Although it is about India's patriarchal culture, it's about subservience of women who are not working. Women should work. But even if it is happening, it cannot be at least called as illegal for the purpose of administration and the court, and the jurisdiction was given by none other than India's first Lady Chief Justice of India, soon to be Miss or Justice B.V. Nagaratna. She said that there is a lady who is complaining. She's a housewife in America, an Indian citizen who is complaining that my husband keeps telling me, why are you spending so much money? He makes me beg for money. He doesn't give me as much money as I need to spend on myself to maintain a decent lifestyle. Court says, agreed, it is not good. I feel bad for you. It's patriarchy, but it is not illegal at the same time. Court is not the place where you can settle your personal scores. It's not a place for that. Psychological and physical harassment cannot be included in denying somebody sufficient amount of money as per their expectation. That's something the Honorable Court has made very clear. It's an interesting observation. So let's focus here. Now that we were doing this article, it also reminded me of another article that I have discussed with you many times before. At least this year I have done it many times. And I want you to remember, it was Article 141. Article 141. Everybody should remember. Okay, so that is Justice B.V. Nagaratna, India's first Chief Justice. Okay, all right. This article we've just finished. Okay, now comes the question. Article is done. Let's see the question. With reference to recent debate on Aravalli Hills and the concept of strategic exemption. Sorry, I missed the question, so now I'm doing it. I'm really sorry. With reference to recent debate on mining in the Aravalli and the concept of strategic exemption, consider the following statements. 1. The Supreme Court allowed mining in core and inviolate areas of the Aravalli Hills only for minerals classified as only for minerals which are critical, strategic, atomic under the MMDR Act 1957. Second is the Environmental Assessment Impact Framework it allows exemption from public consultation for projects involving national security or strategic considerations as determined by the central government. And the last, the Forest Amendment Act 2023 completely exempts mining activities in forest, land from environment and forest clearance. Which of these are valid? Which of these are valid? Are you sure the third statement is right? Is that what everybody believes? Terukula, Sitaram, Eric, Vikash, Deepak, good morning. Yes, Ritvik, is that what we think? Kojumba, Eric, are you there? Do we really think third is the right statement? Does the Forest Conservation Act 2023 completely allows all mining activity in forest area? You can clear all the forest. What I discussed in the article was that under the Forest Amendment Act 2023, today we are allowing more exemptions. We have narrowed down the definition of forest. Many more areas are now being captured for making railways, highways by the government under strategic exemption protocol. But it doesn't mean there is no law only and you can take as much as you like. You can't do that. Third is not right means A is the right answer. So well answered, Santosh, Eric, Ayan, Vikash, Ramu, Terukula, Prasad, Sitaram, Abhinav, Celine. Understood, right? Priyamvada Aktopa? Okay, very good. So now it's almost done. Just because Russia-Ukraine was in the news, and we are all obsessed with maps here, so I could not be without showing you the map. So Ukraine drone has striked in Kherson, and many people have died and many more have become injured. So these were three drones actually. I don't want to elaborate the topic because we know it, but I want to show the map again. And I know we owe the mnemonic Lady Jackson, or I don't know, so many mnemonics you people are making. They are very interesting. I don't know them, but I've seen them. Yes, Terukula and Ramu and Vikash. Then at the same time, Prasad, Sitaram, all of you have made very interesting mnemonics here. So others who've joined us recently can learn mnemonics from them. These are mnemonic experts of my class. So Ludo Zach or Lady Zaxton, whatever, but they help you learn a lot. Okay, so why am I showing you the map for those who are new here? But this is the border between left Ukraine and right Russia. Do remember the map. Thoroughly remember it. All these areas were captured by Russia, starting from Crimea in 2014 when America got the first time realization that Russia is the new superpower. 2014, Crimea was already captured by Russia. Then, from 2022 war with Ukraine, all other areas are now slowly being captured by Russia. It all starts from Kherson, K. Zaporizhia has the largest nuclear power plant in this area for Ukraine. Then comes Donetsk. In Donetsk, we have another very famous area called Donbass. This question came in UPSC 2022 prelims exam, match the following. Here also separatist groups are living, and then comes Luhansk. So remember the names, remember the exact order also. Now Russia is planning to capture these, but America is not supporting Ukraine anymore. America says go and surrender these territories to Russia. I don't care. That's what America says today, okay? America wants to withdraw from NATO. So just in the map, look at Kherson. I repeat, Kherson. Everybody should know Kherson. Just remember one thing before I'm leaving. Kherson's location is very special because it is located absolutely between Black Sea and a very famous river in this area called Dnieper River. D is silent here, bache. Dnieper River. Dnieper River. I don't want anybody to forget. I'll show you the map again. Nobody should forget. Here is Black Sea. Kherson is on Black Sea. And then here is Dnieper River. The location is very strategic. It has two very important ports named as Crimea and Odessa. Crimea and Odessa ports are there. Very important for Ukraine. For Russia, it is important because Russia gets access to Crimea through Kherson. So never forget this map. Russia reminds you of Chernobyl. Then it should also remind you of Fukushima, Japan 2011. That's it. That's it for the day. The last one is very, very irrelevant, just in passing, that now we are increasing GST on tobacco products to 40%. Slab, 40% slab under the new GST reform is for sin goods. Sin goods like alcohol, coal-based products, tobacco. Now, pan masala will also come here. Why? Because government wants to improve the health of people while putting all the essential items into the 0 to 5% category, making them affordable to improve domestic demand in the face of export tariff, and to remove pan masala, alcohol to 40% so that people are discouraged from using them. Ultimately, it's a protocol under what the finance minister Shri Nirmala Sitharaman said, health security se national security tak. That's what we believe in. That's it for the day. That's it for the day from my side. A new sale program is being announced here. If you are joining 2026 preparation, prices are very affordable, flat 50% off, valid till 4th January. If you want to join me, use codes live. Similarly, 27, 28, good sale options are available. Remember, all are flat 50% off plus double validity. Only available till 4th January. That's it from my side. Now coming back to the Telegram channel, yes. Let me finish the class as soon as I exit. Okay, Ramu, thanks for that lisping and correction. Thanks for that. Miss Srimati Radha, the lady finance minister. Okay, now I will post in the comment box. Okay, so my name is Saumya, so no other Saumya is here, so you'll understand. Okay, Saumya PND. I'll quickly post the Telegram channel, join it, and you'll have access to all the PDF. I'll keep sharing all the notes there. Don't have to really write notes. You want to make running notes, go ahead. Not a problem. Naiper River. Okay, so God bless you, everyone. Each one of you. All right, Happy New Year. You are my ex-student from Byju's. Okay, that's beautiful to know that. All right. Bye, AB. Bye, Priyanshu. Bye, Bharat. Bye, Ramu, Vikash, Selim. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for telling about the witch hunting experience. It's a form of witch hunting. Yes. If they actually attack, that becomes hunting. This is a form of hate speech. Okay. And thank you so much for the kind comment, Bharat. That was really kind of you. Okay. And thank you, Ritvik, for your kind comment. Thank you. All right then. Bye bye, Vikash. Bye, Terukula. Bye, Kojumba dear. Bye, my dear Eric. Thank you for your sharing with us. It was very meaningful today for me. Thank you, Santosh, Afroz, Aktopam, Ayan, Sagar, Sitaram, Bharat, Abhinav, Kojumba, and Aktopam, and Santosh, and SB Short, and Akhtar, and who else? Prasad, Ritvik. Anybody else? Sumit, Priyanshu, AB. Then anyone else I'm missing upon? Aman. Aman, I have mentioned. Anybody else? Ramu, I'm talking to Ramu constantly. So Ramu's I have already mentioned. Okay. Bharat, Priyanshu, Raina. Okay, that's a new student. All right. Kumbhati, Sagar, Veda, Sumit, Rocky, Ayan. Okay. So anybody's name whom I'm missing, apologies because it's not visible here. Oh, that's so sweet, Terukula. You really made my day, Bacha. You really made my day. Thank you. I'm so humbled. Yes, Bache, I'll do it right now. Just putting in the comment box of the lecture my Telegram channel. Hope it's accessible. Now, God forbid if it's not accessible, again, we'll do it. I missed you, Sagarika. Bye, Sagarika. God bless you. Bye, Cham Chambal. Okay, by code name Chambal. Bye bye, Priyanshu. Bye, Bharat. Bye bye. God bless you. Just writing the channel's name. See you tomorrow.